Did you know MSU has the largest high voltage lab in North America? They have been doing some electrifying stuff during the pandemic. Let's hear more from Dr. Wallace.
And my big passion is high voltage. Ever since I was a child, power has always just impressed me.
Tell me, what sparked the idea of converting the battery-powered ventilator to an AC-powered one? That was such an amazing story.
So what I was able to do is they sent me one of the ventilators up here. I took it apart, saw how the battery's plugged in, and I was able to make a little port that I mounted to the side of the box, wire that port through a switch, which is a little switch here, and now you can plug that power supply into the side, turn your switch into one position, you run off of AC. If you need to take it out, go to the other position, now you're back on batteries again. I had about 16 kids that came in throughout the days to help make the conversions over, change them out, get them repackaged. And amazingly, we was able to do all 550. We also had a company in Louisville, Taylor Machine Works, that they got some of their gentlemen that work down there to get involved. And between the two of us, we got all 550 of them done up in about 3 days' time. We was working here till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, doing what it took to get them done. And the Highway Patrol came here. We actually put them in their cars. They shipped them, drove them right down to the hospital, got them in place. So it was an overall effort between a lot of people, and it was fun. We had
that is so meaningful. And that's a perfect example of creativity and innovation and tenacity to identify a problem and then find a solution and bring everybody together, even though it took some late nights. Well, and thank you all for your efforts. I know the University of Mississippi Medical Center was grateful. But it sounds like you're going to need children that are very interested in STEAM and STEM to help create some of those solutions for the 21st century.
Exactly.
So they can get their curiosity in play over this. Tell me a little bit about that lightning bolt and that you're creating. I know the children of Mississippi, they want to know about that.
See, my lab is a very interactive lab, and I do a lot of tours. This year, I haven't done as much because of the COVID, but it's a very interactive. I give about anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour presentation to where I create lightning strikes. I blow up stuff. I let them touch things, make their hair stand up. They can hold a light bulb in their hand and make it light up from a distance away. It's a fun place to come here and see. It will shock you. It will surprise you. It's unique. And like I said, I love it.
MSU also make robots.
So probably one of the more interesting things that we came up with was the truck box disinfecting device for face masks.
Wow.
They just looked around the laboratory and found some devices, did the research on how you can use light. So it uses an ultraviolet light to disinfect the mask to kill the germs. We make the design available to anybody that wants to do this themselves. You can get the parts and sort of have a template. So, it's the kind of things that, kids and maybe with their help of a parent or two could figure out how to do themselves if they can get the parts.
I see another picture behind you, another student.
A lot of our schools, the kids may have 3D printers. They're becoming so prevalent. But this is how we made the face shields. Mm-hmm. And so this is an example of a face shield that we gave out to a lot of health departments and health centers for first responders. When PPE was in short supply.
What else at Mississippi State have folks been doing?
So this is a picture. So some of our manufacturers, when they decided they wanted to start making face masks instead of what they were making, they would bring the material to our one of our centers called the Institute for Clean Energy, and there we have the technology to test the materials to see how the particles flow through the materials and which materials did a better job of stopping the particles that was coming out of our mouths. Remember Wear your face mask. Even bullies wearing a face mask these days.
And we did a video series and asked children in our camps, and it is really the most intriguing thing when they were asked what their big idea might be. Several of them wanted to invent robots. I think they would be very interested to hear about real robots.
So there are all kinds of robots, some of them that we think about that walk around and talk, but this is a robot that would be used in any number of settings, in manufacturing, in construction. We do work with first responders.
Oh, wow.
And we use, the one you see in the picture is a little bigger, but we actually use little robots like this. It goes ahead of the law enforcement officers so that it gets in harm's way potentially first before the human does.
Wow.
So we really study how the human team interacts with the robot on the team. One of the other really fun things that we're doing is using robots for therapy. It's being evaluated by the medical community as a way of counseling and therapy for children.
Oh, wow.
So this is an example of a robot that students will build and they continue to improve. And all of the components are 3D printed that you see here. So they build this themselves and use it for research.
I've always been really intrigued about the supercomputer.
The computer's name is Orion. It's the fourth fastest among academia in the United States. It's the blue you see means that it's nice and cool. Supercomputers use a lot of energy, so they get really hot. So there is water running through it. There are tubes that run through. It's water cooled. And it also has fans blowing on all around it.
Well, is this something that students interact with at all? Yes. Or have exposure to?
Students can, depending upon their research activity, they certainly can run their simulation or their modeling activity or calculate whatever it may be. It stays busy. The utilization is 24/7, and it's running jobs for scientists around the world almost 24/7. And but students can have access depending upon the work that they're doing.
We've been really involved in a fourth grade coding challenge. We piloted the very first one with C Spire, and it's been very successful, and children from all over the state participate, and the things that they create, we're amazed by. That fourth graders can make robots, code robots to do really, really fun things.
Well, that's fabulous. I mean, I think kids, young people, we all need exposure to these things to keep our minds open, but young people need that chance to play and explore. Coding is one of the best ways to practice that skill of not only that logical thinking skill, but to realize, oh, well, it didn't do what I wanted to do this time. Let me just adjust something and try again. That in and of itself is one of the most important things that we all need to remember, is that just to keep trying.